Yes.
You need 1 million signatures.
Okay.
You draft your bill, you take it with your 1 million signatures to IEBC, and that is exactly what we did.
All right, let me bring in Senator Wanga, Senator Elachi, I beg your pardon, and ask, because one of the other assertions we heard today is that just a day before, IEBC came and issued this announcement, we had some members of Jubilee coming out to say, in fact, this Okoa Kenya will fail because they won't get enough signatures. And true to the word, IEBC comes and says there are not enough signatures. So when there's talk of sabotage and, IEBC being in cahoots with Jubilee, is that far from the truth from where you sit?
First of all, I want to take it from a very different level. That I'm disappointed up to now IEBC has not brought a bill to Parliament to give us clear procedures on how to run a referendum. We have the principle in the Constitution. We know Article 257(4) says clearly the promoters of the popular initiative will indeed take their draft bill with the signatures. From there, they need now to tell, and I wish they did that when Okoa Kenya presented their signatures, that number one, this is the procedure we are going to use. We will verify the names first and then verify the signatures. Because what IEBC has just done was to just verify first the names. So it means they had the second stage of verifying if indeed that name that is in the voter register goes in tandem with your signature. Number three, I don't know why they have refused to upload on the website. Let us see the names so that also Okoa Kenya does not feel, why is it you're telling us just names? And I'm wondering, Okoa Kenya, when they went to pick the signatures, if also you are serious in this process, you wanted a referendum, you are a political party, 5, 6 political parties, you are allowed to go and get the voter register. So that when somebody is bringing his ID and the voter and appending his signature, you will know exactly and tick the voter register that this we have ticked. It is clear, you have an ID, a voter register, your signature we need. Then you take to IEBC the voter register that you had picked from IEBC with your signatures, and you tell them, be verified from these two. You went, you gave IEBC your signatures, you decided IEBC, key for us. You don't have a draft that you can tell Kenyans, look, if they are asking us an ID, we can upload this for Kenyans to see. This is what we have remained with. This is what we gave IEBC. Are they the same? So for me, first of all, I want IEBC to put all the names on the website. Let us see the names.
But there's something they've given. What is it they released to you in terms of what they've gathered and what you gave?
I think what they've... let me first just make a correction to what Senator Elachi is saying in insinuating that we did not use the voter register. Surely that is common sense. We did use the voters register.
Then where is the problem?
We had a list. We had a voter register list. So this, in fact, this insinuation that, oh, you didn't have this, is not, or that we did not make the basic step of using the register is actually not true. And that is why we are as shocked as everybody is that we're being told that names are not on the register and so on and so forth.
So that we don't push the country and the country will feel there's sabotage and all that. So that we remove IEBC once and for all for them to go. Because there's no way you will give your names without a copy. We do have a copy of what we gave to the IEBC. They have the copy of their voters register that they used. All they need to tell Kenyans, this is what we used. These are our 1.7 million names. This is what we gave IEBC. Now, can IEBC prove to us from the 1.7 we gave you, how come you only have 891 names? What is the problem? When we look at our register, we tick to the voter register and the signatures we gave you this.
All right. Sophia, let me come back to the question that my very good sister, Senator Elachi, is avoiding. Which is the question as to why Honorable Sakaja and Honorable Duale, 2 days before IEBC spoke, actually came out to say that the signatures that CORD has given are fake and therefore they are not going to get enough signatures. And this is why we have a strong belief that IEBC is working with Jubilee and has been working with Jubilee. And we said this, including in 2013 when they had a common server from where the results were passing, to come to to be transmitted to Boma. So this is the question that we are raising, and the red flag that we are raising.
Senator, what do you say to that?
No, and you know me well. I don't do rumor mongering of things I don't like, because in this country we must also have Kenyans who sit in parliament who will not care about their political parties, but give Kenyans facts. Let them feel we have a few people who can represent them, regardless whether the president is my political party leader. I will tell him this one is wrong, this one is right. Today I want to say this to Okoa, Kenya, and even CORD. If you want the country to move to the right direction, to appreciate that indeed IEBC has just sabotaged your process, it is very, very simple. We are so digital in this country. Upload what you have, show Kenyans, and let IEBC now tell Kenyans why is it that indeed we used a register, a voter register that was used in 2013, that is very clear, has my name, my everything. All I needed was Senator Elachi append my signature, and it is indeed an authentic signature of Senator Elachi, which we also have people in this country who can help you to do that.
Yeah, but do you agree, Senator, that it is worrying for Kenyans watching all of this? Yes, we appreciate you. Do not want to get into who said, she said, but to appreciate the fact that when you have that kind of what some would say coincidence or whatever happening, on one hand you have these senior people in the Jubilee government. The Duale is a majority leader in the National Assembly. You have Sakaja being the national chairman of the president's party. So when they say these things, and then it so happens that's the announcement from IEBC, at least do you appreciate from a place of sitting back and watching these events unfold that it does look suspicious?
In this country, there's nothing suspicious. The same guys in the same offices will just call and say, we finished this thing, and there's nothing. And then somebody will pick. The same way also, they get information and they tell Kenyans, and indeed you'll find it comes out to be the truth. So who at that time has given you that information? The same people who are inside. So let us not run around. No. Somebody in IEBC decided to call them and say, look, we've finished this initiative, and this is how it is.
So the big question is why were people in IEBC
the same
calling
I want to give my sister
Duale
an example.
and Sakaja. Why were they calling Duale and Sakaja instead of giving feedback, which we had been demanding, to the Okoa Kenya initiative? So you ask yourself, of course you see the way communication happens between IEBC and Jubilee, which is what Senator has admitted to, that somebody in IEBC called their leadership.
I've not said they called. I have said just the way they started NYS, it came. Who gave them the information? There may be Mangiti or anyone. So let us not be hypocrisy in all this. We know when we have our own within these institutions, they will leak information. That is very clear in our country. We know that. So whether they called or whatever, all I'm saying, either way, one person called and gave them the information. I won't lie here. I'll be very clear. Just the way they get more information and they bring it out before anyone knows, and they say it is the truth, and it will come out, and people have to deal with it. Same way.
Let me take us through just some of the other issues that were in the statement. What you said was the second point, that IEBC was the last port of call after all other Jubilee efforts to frustrate the referendum. So that the claim that the referendum would be too expensive, you did not agree with that. Demands to have the referendum on the same date with the elections next year, and that there were other initiatives, Amechoka, Punda Amechoka and Boresha Maisha, that were put in place to perhaps divert attention. And also what the Speaker in the National Assembly said, that there should be a merger again of those drives and stonewalling by IEBC through claims that there were not enough funds. So for you, you see multiple efforts being put in place by not only the IEBC, but also on the other hand, elements in the government or executive.
Yeah, and I think in the statement we are building a story. And this story began as soon as we began efforts to have a popular initiative. Because of the numbers in Parliament, Jubilee always thought that we could not achieve a 2/3 majority to amend the Constitution. So that they were in a comfort zone. So when we began the popular initiative, of course it was a shocker. And you began to hear the statements such as, this is too expensive, the country cannot afford it, pesa mashimoni, what have you. You saw Governor Mbugua of Nakuru, in very exceptional circumstances, taking Okoa Kenya referendum booklets and banning them. You saw people being chased away and governors declaring that nobody will do any Okoa Kenya rally or bring any Okoa Kenya initiative into my county. So those were efforts by Jubilee to of course stop the process. And then you had them bringing now, when now the horse bolted, they now said, okay, let's have some confusing other initiatives, Punda Amechoka, Boresha Katiba, and several other distractions. When they realized that the resolve was not coming down, then the last point of call was, of course, the IEBC. And let me also say something that was within Okoa Kenya, and that we believe, IEBC was very uncomfortable, because a big part of Okoa Kenya, of course, was about devolution. Another big part was about electoral reforms, because Kenyans were saying, okay, Cody, you're saying the last election was not free and fair. What are you doing about it? And we said, here is what we're doing about it. We are proposing major electoral reforms. And one of those reforms was to constitute a new electoral body that we felt could have the strength to carry out free and fair elections in 2017. And this was IEBC seeing themselves, kicking themselves out, which is part of the reason why they were colluding to sabotage this process. I mean, because there's a strong proposal within Okoa Kenya to have an IEBC constituted, and this is based on the principle that nobody is neutral. Nobody is neutral in this country. Even a priest given a ballot paper will mark something. So we were saying, okay, let's admit nobody is neutral. Let everybody propose whoever they want to be within the electoral body based on your political party strength. Let political parties propose. Okay. So really, I totally agree that the IEBC was the last point of call, but still they failed miserably in executing this sabotage. Because how, for example, did IEBC decide that Okoa Kenya had collapsed? Which part of the law did they draw that conclusion from?
All right. Well, how do you think IEBC has so far conducted itself, and as far as the matter of changing the constitution is concerned?
In terms of changing the constitution, I think there are many things that IEBC has failed on. And for me, at this point in time, they have a very good new CEO who would wish to see the institution move. Then you have the commissioners who have a lot of issues. Commissioners who were brought in with the Grand Coalition government, therefore some are from CORD and some were from the PNU side. And moving on, if everyone feels this is what they feel about IEBC, I would appreciate if the commissioners can just resign, if they really appreciate the country. Just the way Motunga is leaving in June, I would wish all these institutions, we bring in the new people. But who are the new people in Kenya? That is where I ask myself. So in Kenya, new people are the ones. Why can't we just leave institutions to thrive? It is very difficult in Kenya. Why? Until the political class will stop interfering with some of these institutions and being the ones. But it is too sad. IEBC has to work with political parties. Therefore, they will always be in a political temperature mood.
Yes.
For them, they need to understand within a political context where you have the opposition and the government, how do you draw your line? For me, I don't think Okoa Kenya has lost. These are only 121,000 votes that they need. This signatures. Nairobi, one day, they are very popular. One day, they will have it. Why? I even don't know why. If they were serious, you tell IBC, fine, we have lost, we are going back, we will bring you in these days our 100 or 200 signatures.
So why not go for
200,000 signatures.
Why not?
Sophia, I think we need to be very...
Why should we keep on telling the country this?
I think we need to be very clear. And the anxiety we are facing as a country currently has been caused by lack of preparedness and lack of goodwill on the part of the IEBC, which is why up to date they don't have, as Senator Lechi said earlier,